I mean, I'm so jealous of Ralphie. He just can fucking sleep.
Dude, he just eats, sleeps, walks, and shits. It's a life.
That sounds so fucking nice.
It does. Man, Bears fucking beat the Raiders, dude.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I want to talk about today. It's the only thing.
And Vikings won
That's
too.
a podcast. No, that doesn't matter. Bears beat the Raiders. They were underdogs. The Vikings should have won by a lot.
I had fucking 3 heart attacks that
What
game.
happened during that game? Because so I don't know what's going on with the Vikings offense this year in general, because they were really good last year. At least their offense was, and their defense struggled.
Our offense is good. The last 2 weeks have been tough.
Yeah.
It's typical Mike Zimmer.
Mm.
It's a lot of, okay, we have the lead. Let's just play conservatively. We had 46 seconds left, I think, at the end of the first half with 2 timeouts, and we fucking go handoff up the middle twice.
That's tough, man.
Right. Zimmer plays to not lose, and you can't do that in the NFL.
The Bears do that too sometimes. Like we were up 14-3 at half. Yeah, 14-3 going into the third, right? And when we get the ball, it was like 1st and 10, handoff. 2nd and 9, handoff. 3rd and 8. And then sometimes we'd run it still. And then, or it'd be like 3rd and 5, run the ball. Or it's like 3rd and 2. But if it was 3rd and 3 or shorter, we line up with 2 tight ends. We bring in an extra lineman, and then we have 1 receiver. And we run the fucking ball up the middle. It's like, how much more predictable can you get? Like,
Right.
what else are you going to run out of that? Are you going to bring the lineman out and throw a pass to him on the fucking 40-yard line?
Right.
Sure. So it's frustrating seeing some of that kind of shit. But we'd like run it, and then it's 3rd and 8, 3rd and 10, and then we don't convert on 3rd down. It's like, why are you putting a rookie quarterback in 3rd and 8 and 3rd and 10 situations? You know, it's like
Setting him up for failure.
Yeah, and they were. There was a great 3rd and 12 play where Fields hit Mooney. I showed you that play. It's like a perfectly timed route. The Raiders had like 8 guys just sitting on the 1st down marker, which was really smart. But then they just had a perfectly timed route right in between 2 of the linebackers, and it was a 1st down on a 3rd and 12, which is a crucial 3rd down play. And in the press conference, Matt Nagy was saying, like, yeah, we'd been practicing that all week and whatnot. And I think it's important to have plays like that ready to go on game day, but also maybe put a little bit more effort into practicing how to not get into a 3rd and 12 situation. But, I mean, what the fuck do I know?
Practice 1st down a little bit more.
Yeah, no kidding. Practice 1st and 2nd down a little bit better. Practice getting into fewer 3rd down situations in general.
He's like, I don't care if we get into 3rd downs because we're going to fucking get it.
Yep.
Address the root cause.
Yeah.
Don't wait for a problem to arise and then figure the problem out. Figure out how to not have the problem happen in the first place.
Yeah. I am impressed that the Bears are sitting at 3-2 right now. I think if they could get out of the next few games and, you know, be like 5-5 going into our bye week, I think that would be awesome because, well, our bye week is week 10 actually. So I think we'd be either 5-4 or 4-5, but we have a tough few games coming up. But, you know, if you can be 500 with a rookie quarterback, like that's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
The trade deadline is November 2nd. And I think that the Bears should probably be sellers at this point because, like, okay, you're good. You're 3-2. That's really good. But let's be realistic. We're not contenders this year. I think it would be interesting if we tried to trade Allen Robinson because he's a stud. He's a good receiver. I think it'd be tough because we might not get a ton of value for him because he is on a franchise tag rather than, you know, a contract with another year or 2 on him. So I don't know what we get for him, but I think if there's a team that maybe feels like they're another good receiver away, then you never know what you could get for him, right? It kind of depends on the other team's situation, what you're going to get for him.
Or it could be one of those things that if they do want to trade him, they could figure out a future contract, sign him to a longer deal, and then trade him.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know how... I genuinely have no idea how realistic that would be if they have till November 2nd, because what's right now the 13th. So...
Talks would probably have already started.
Yeah, I mean, they should have been finished and negotiated, and he should have been extended last year.
Right.
But, you know, whatever. Speaking of being October 13th, we're about 2 weeks into sober October, or for you, sober-ish October.
Soberish, October-ish.
Yeah. How's it going for you?
I think I'm finally coming off of that nicotine withdrawal.
Yeah.
I don't have a fucking migraine anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I still do find myself kind of craving the Zen. I go through almost a pack of gum a day.
Yeah.
I'm probably a solid 10 sticks a day.
No shit.
Don't have the sore jaw anymore. But I mean, that was brutal. I still find myself, though, like, wanting Zen. I'm not going to.
Mm-hmm.
I think I said this on the last podcast. I'm not starting back up in November.
At first you thought
At first
you
I
were.
did. Well, at first I wanted to.
Yeah.
But after that withdrawal,
Mm-hmm.
I never want to experience that again. I'm not going to say I'm never going to do Zen again on a road trip.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if it's that or chewing tobacco, I'm going to pick Zen 10 times out of 10.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to have 6 tins of Zen sitting on my desk every week. And marijuana hasn't really been an issue. But here's what I will say. I am drinking more frequently
Mm-hmm.
than I normally do. So it is one of those things. I am now drinking because of, it's a Friday night. Normally I'd just stay in and get high. Well, let's go out and let's grab some dinner and have some drinks, where I wouldn't do that in the past. But the going out is like a way for me to, okay, well, I'm not going to sit at home tonight. Let's go do something. I'm kind of going back to my college days of like, let's go out, let's have a few drinks.
Yeah.
It's fun.
But I mean, that's only weekends though, right?
It is. So yeah, I'm not drinking during the week. Like
Yeah.
last night I was at Savannah's and she poured herself a glass of wine and she's like, do you want some wine? And I was like, no, it's a fucking Tuesday night. Like, I'm not drinking wine during the week. Like a glass of wine, what's that going to do for me?
Yeah.
So weekends though, my parents were just in town. Drank like a fucking baboon.
Yeah. Speaking of, I'm the only one here that knows who Savannah is. So
That's funny.
spill.
Yeah. I have a girlfriend. She's another trainer. I'm kind of following in Connor's footsteps on date your coworkers.
Zach likes to copy me.
Right. What could possibly go wrong with that, right?
A lot, actually.
yeah. No, a lot could actually go wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. Started dating officially like a handful of days ago.
Yeah.
But we've been hanging out for a while.
Met the parents too.
She met the parents. She's Jewish. Made my mom happy. She's actually the first girl that I've brought around my parents, and my mom's like, I wish I didn't know she was Jewish because I actually like her. I just don't want you to think I like her because she's Jewish.
That's funny.
So, yeah, we got deep. What was it, Saturday night when they were here?
Mm-hmm.
Girls were off doing their own thing. The guys were all together and everything, and we were just talking, and then my mom pulled me aside, and she's like, I hate that I know that she's Jewish. I was like, okay. She's like, I really like her. Like, she's a confident girl, whatever, talking her up, and she's like, the fact that she's Jewish is just a cherry on top. And what I will preface, I don't think I've said this, my mom doesn't give a shit if I marry Jewish or not, in the sense that she just wants me happy.
Yeah.
To me, marrying Jewish is more about the moral compass that Judaism teaches, kind of the cultures and traditions, and it makes holidays a little bit easier.
Yeah. Well, I think there's, like you said, it makes holidays easier, and there's something too just about enjoying the traditions that you did growing up, and I don't think there's anything wrong with adopting new traditions. Like, let's say you marry a girl that's Catholic or whatever, like. It might be tough the way, like, your family celebrates, like, during Christmas. Like, you guys are going to be in Florida, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so that might be tough if you were married and your wife was like, oh, well, my family is going to have Christmas, and, like, they want you there. And you're like, oh, I don't know what to do. So that can kind of provide some challenges, I think.
I would just play devil's advocate on that. It makes other holidays easier, though.
Yeah.
Where it's like, for all the Jewish holidays, we go to my parents' house. For all the Christian holidays, we go to your parents' house.
For sure.
Like, there's no splitting time that way.
Oh, yeah. And I'm sure there's plenty of marriages where that works, and it works really well.
Exactly.
I don't think there's ever a right or wrong situation. I think, you kind of fall in love with who you fall in love with. And I think I think it's kind of cool to adopt new traditions and to be able to introduce people to traditions that they aren't used to, that you've done your whole life, and even like with Jessie and I, I consider myself more non-denominational Christian or a Christ follower. I don't love a lot of, what the church teaches, and growing up in a Christian Catholic school, I think there were some things that went on in a Christian school that I would consider closer to like mental abuse than I would religion. But that's a conversation for another time. But I kind of left my faith and came back to it and was able to make it my faith, right, and no one else's. And Jessie grew up Catholic, and like a lot of people who grew up Catholic, they were raised to see it as more just about tradition and right and wrong, and you do this, this, and that, and if you sin, then you got to go to confession and all that kind of stuff. Whereas for me, it's just more of a relationship with God. And, I think what's cool is like I grew up celebrating Christmas, Easter, and those kind of things. But Jessie also celebrates those things as well. And for her, it's more tradition focused. And honestly, it is for me too. Because also if you're a Christian, like we have an idea that Jesus was actually probably born closer to like February, March, April. So he actually wasn't even really born in December, as far as I know. But again, that was thousands of years ago. So
right, you can't just sit there and call him up and ask him.
But pretty sure it was actually he was born in the spring. But whatever. I love having an excuse to go home and see my parents and get the whole family together with the extended family. And, so it helps that we both kind of grew up celebrating those holidays.
Right.
And that can make things easier. And you have like the chemistry, right, of how you click, how you like feel emotionally about each other, even like, the sexual aspect of your relationship. But then you also have like compatibility in your lifestyle and your values, and you don't have to have the same exact values, but similar core values at least. Mm-hmm. I would say maybe the same like core values of like maybe like family, honesty, like nonviolence, like those kind of values, right? And then
I would argue you don't want all the values to be the same.
It's fucking boring,
right? You want to be able to challenge each other and like do different things, explore different avenues, and
absolutely, and still have different interests, but also have some shared interests. I think it's good to have both of those.
It's like a Venn diagram with a big middle.
Yeah. I don't really believe in opposites attract. Like maybe in some areas, but not in as a by and large, I don't think that's true.
I just think it in the sense that like if you have extremists on either side where you do need that balance, then they help out.
Yeah. I'd say if it's opposites attract, why don't you go get like a big Bernie Sanders supporter and then get like a QAnon fucking person. Like, get those two together, see how they get along.
Go far left, far right, and get them in the same room, and only one of them's coming out alive.
Should we make a dating show with that?
That would be fucking incredible.
Oh shit, man, we should definitely do that.
We should definitely do that.
That would be great.
Roundabout way though, how's your fully sober October going?
It's good. I would say the hardest part has been Zen, but I've been doing gum too. Chewing a lot of gum.
I do Zen.
Hey bro, do you do gum? Do you think doing gum is cool?
Yeah.
I think I go through maybe 4 or 5 sticks of gum a day, so nothing terrible. I've been putting cinnamon in the filter of my coffee in the morning, and that's been insanely helpful because it gets that cinnamon fix out. I keep telling myself I'm going to get some of that big red gum to see if maybe that mixes well with coffee.
So the problem with that is the flavor.
Did you try it?
Not recently. My mom used to love cinnamon gum.
Okay.
The flavor only lasts for so long, and then it's like super hard. Like, when you chew gum for a while, it gets a little tougher.
Yeah.
That's like chewing plastic.
Have you ever chewed gum, like 5 gum, when it ends up getting like powdery?
Yes, it almost like disintegrates in your mouth, but it like doesn't disintegrate. It just like falls apart.
That's nasty.
Yes.
That's the worst. But yeah, I've been chewing a little bit more gum. I was about to say doing more gum again. Drinking hasn't been tough. The hardest part was actually this past weekend. Jessie and I went to this pumpkin patch pop-up thing, And it was pretty stupid, actually. It was basically just a big like Instagram photo op. When you called them, like they had a machine, and the first thing it said was like, "This is Jack's Pumpkin Pop-Up. The best opportunities for Instagram photos and corn maze and axe throwing." And you're
That's funny.
instead of leading with carnival games, axe throwing, and corn maze, you lead with Instagram photo op. So what that tells me is they understand that most people care more about making other people think they're having fun than actually having fun. Which is fucking hilarious, by the way, and very sadly accurate, because there were so many people just picture here, picture there. Oh, we got to get one over behind this thing.
Mm-hmm.
And Jesse and I were like, neither of us are big like picture takers with things like that. Dude, we barely have any pictures. I wish we would take more. But then we both say that. And then we go do something, and then we're like, yeah, fuck it.
That happened with me with my parents this weekend. So I got a picture with my mom, and I was like, when was the last time we had a picture? Like, we live in different states.
Took no pictures in Vegas with them either.
Right. There were 2 pictures that were taken, and they were both selfies. One was at a bar, and one was at dinner.
Yeah.
Like, we just...
No, right after the show. Right after the show, you got pictures.
I don't think I have that picture. Because, again, I don't care. Like, it's nice to look back on pictures.
Yeah.
But when I'm in the moment, the last thing I'm thinking about is we need to get a picture.
Yeah, we're just having fun.
I'm enjoying the moment.
Yep.
Like, I do want to ask you, has your caffeine intake gone up since you've been off Zen?
No.
It hasn't?
No, it's been the same. Same coffee. Sticking with the diet root beer, which diet root beer, the A&W doesn't have any caffeine in it. So, yeah, I mean, it's been the same. If anything, I mean, yeah, it's been the same. Still haven't taken pre-workout. The first day it was really hard it just took longer for me to wake up, but now I feel like I'm kind of like gotten in a rhythm after about a week.
We both talked about how slow time felt like it was going.
Yeah, the first day. But I really wanted to drink that at that pumpkin patch thing, because they had some really cool alcoholic drinks and like seasonal drinks, but they didn't have just regular apple cider, which is weird because it was also like marketed as like a family thing, right?
That's funny.
And we went through, so the axe throwing was going to be like an hour and a half wait, and then there was a corn maze, and they had like a bar in the corn maze.
An hour and a half wait for fucking throwing an axe.
Yeah, and you had to pay like I think $15 for like 4 throws.
Jesus,
it's crazy. So we're going through this corn maze, which is also really disappointing, by the way. And they have a bar inside the corn maze, and I look at Jessie. I'm like, I mean, if we have one drink, we're still sober. And she was like, I mean, like, technically, yes, but that's not what Sober October is. And I was like, I know, but, like, this place fucking sucks. And she's like, yeah, but here's the thing. She's like, I know if you have a drink right now, you're going to wake up tomorrow and you're going to be so pissed off. You're going to regret it, and I'm going to be the one that has to hear about it. And I was like, you're right. I don't want to do it. Mm-hmm. And it's helpful that Jessie knows what motivates me more. Like, I'm more motivated by avoiding a shitty outcome and feeling bad tomorrow than I am motivated by, pursuing a positive outcome in like a month, right? I would rather not feel like shit tomorrow. So that was like really helpful and like kind of just helping me keep my head on straight. And then her car got fucking broken into, and I think someone probably tried to steal it.
So what happened? And explain, because we kind of touched on this when we met up with you at Starbucks, but we had to go because my anxiety was kicking in for the Vikings game.
Yeah.
But talk about that.
So we had left the pop-up place, and we're driving to pick up Jessie's sister and her boyfriend. We're gonna go out with them. And there's like this place, a bowling place or whatever. And I'm getting a bag out of her back seat of her car. And I wanted to clear up some more space in the back. And I see a bunch of shattered glass on the seat. And I was like, what the fuck? And I look up, and her back window, not the main window, but like the little triangular window behind the window that you actually like roll down. And it was like completely shattered. And I was like, hey, your back window's fucking shattered. So we pull into this gas station. she's pissed. I'm like, my dad is in, insurance. Anyone that's been listening to the show, this. If you're new here, you can go back and listen to episode 41. My dad is
42.
41.
41.
Yeah.
Listen to both of them.
Yeah. Episode 41, we have my dad, who is a financial advisor and also works in the insurance industry. And so I called him and was talking to him about it. And he was a police officer way back when. And he told me that when they would look for stolen cars, they would actually, like, obviously you have the make and model of the car. In a perfect world, you have the license plate number. And he had told me that they look for that small window to be broken into. Generally, if you see just any window shattered, they're just trying to steal something. When it's that small window, they're trying to break through that, open the back door, and unlock the car, get in the front, and hotwire the car and steal it, whether that's to commit another crime or sell the car for parts or whatever. And, his theory was that someone probably was trying to break into the car to steal it, and they got spooked when someone else was coming in the parking lot. And the lot that we were in, it wasn't like a labeled lot anywhere. It was just kind of a random-ass parking lot. And the other people that were going to and from this pumpkin patch were also parking there. But we parked in a back corner, and the lighting wasn't very good. And I was like, I don't even know if this is a real spot, but fuck it. Let's back up in here. And it was in the back corner where there was it was almost pitch black. But then the front of her car, there was a little bit of light. And I think someone was probably breaking into it, and then they saw other people coming, and they were probably like, oh, fuck, I gotta get out of here.
That.
Yeah, so that's fucking crazy.
That's so crazy. And it's funny, I shouldn't say funny, but when I was leaving work today, there was a car parked across the street, and the back window was taped up with plastic, and I was like, someone probably tried to fucking steal that car.
Yeah.
Never would have thought about it until you said that. And of course, now that when you say it, then you're aware of it.
Yeah.
2 days later, if I can see it, I'm like, that car's probably someone tried to steal it.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like when you start playing. Did you ever play Slug Bug?
Yes.
When you're younger? Yeah, you don't realize how many Volkswagen bugs there are until you start playing that game.
So you're getting hit every 20 minutes.
Which is funny. You don't see any of those in the city.
Really? Because I've been hit twice by Savannah in the last couple days.
Really?
She just says it. What do you say? Slug bug, whatever color.
Yeah, no slug backs or whatever. No.
Well, she didn't, so I hit her back the first time, and she got pissed at me. And I was like, "You didn't say, wait, slug bug, no, yeah, whatever you say, no backs or whatever."
Yeah.
Yeah. But I've been hit a couple times already in the last couple days. Funny. I'm like, this is fucked up.
When I was in high school, we would play this game called Banana as well. So every time you see a yellow car, you go banana, and you just fucking punch a shit out of the other person. I almost made my friend crash his car, dude. I punched him in the leg.
He was driving?
He was driving. And I got him right at 2/3 of the way down your quad, on the outside.
Oh.
Just fucking dead leg. And he was like, dude, my leg is asleep. And he's
shit.
freaking out. And I had to pull over. It's like, all right, maybe hit him in the arm next time. But his arms, he's fucking up at 10-2. So I was like, fuck it, I'll hit his leg.
Right, exactly. You're trying to be safe about it.
Yeah.
I think the more PG version of that, when you see a yellow car, you yell score and hit the top of the roof. You ever played that?
Yeah.
You just how many points you get. Yeah. Score.
We used to play, I don't even know what it was called, but you just drive around town, and everyone has to put their hand up and touch the roof when you go through a yellow light. And whoever's last has to take an article of clothing off.
That's funny.
Yeah, we just get have a few guys, a few girls in the car. You're like, all right, let's go.
6 dudes in the car.
The worst part is you just never wanted to get caught driving. You're like, I don't want to drive. Can I sit in the back? Can we get the 2 girls on either side of me here?
That's funny. Yeah, I think it was called Jello, where when you're in the car, and when you turn, you're supposed to lean the other way.
Oh, yeah.
There's no rhyme or reason behind that game. I think it's just a way to piss everyone in the back seat off.
Yeah.
Yeah. What other car games were there?
I don't know. Oh, the license plate game, where you got to try to see every state if you're on a highway. Or the alphabet. You have to find whether license plates, street signs, all that kind of stuff.
God, kids nowadays will never know that kind of stuff. They just sit on their phones or iPads in the back now.
Yeah.
It's depressing.
Yeah, it kind of is. I don't think I'll give my kids phones that young. At least smartphones I won't.
Yeah. I'm sure they'll get an iPad.
Yeah, I mean, I'll probably let him play on mine a little bit every here and there. Like my parents would let me play on their phone
That's true.
for a little bit, but they're like, you don't get one.
Brick Breaker.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
Dude, that was a game.
That was fucking
We
amazing.
used to love that. My dad would be like, "You're gonna kill the battery." I'd be like, I don't care.
I don't care. I've got 997 lives, so
I'm about to beat my brother's score.
Yeah.
Not
But
now, Dad.
Score. Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, that'll be kind of cool to talk about. Like, I'm talking years down the road, but once we start having kids, like,
Yeah.
just being able to bounce ideas back and forth of like how we're gonna raise our kids.
Yeah. Just lock them up in the cellar.
Keep them in the kennel downstairs.
Be like, hey, you don't got to come back up till you finish your 10x10 on your squats.
Put 135 on the bar and say you can't come up till you lift it.
They'd be like, Dad, I just threw up. I still have 5 more sets left. Like,
Good.
Good. It
Each
builds
throw-
character.
Build some crit.
Oh, man. Put some hair on your chest.
Literally.
Oh,
Drink
man.
some whiskey.
So I think we got to get into some NFL picks here.
Start the beat.
All right. And the first game, Thursday night game. These Thursday night games have not been that great so far. But these go out after fucking Thursday anyway. We post our Thursday night picks on fucking Sunday. Like
after
at
the
noon.
first round of games.
Or like at halftime of the games or whatever. Which I don't give a shit, man. Like, we don't have enough people that like follow us that really give a shit. But when we do,
We also don't have a big enough team to like.
yeah. But when we do, we'd probably post our Thursday night picks like on Thursday and then post the rest of the picks on Sunday morning. But when we have that much money to just like pay people to do shit like that for us, then, we'd have more time to do that ourselves, even if we wanted to anyway.
Right.
But whatever. We got the Buccaneers and the Eagles. Who you got?
Bucks. What about you?
Same. I got
The Bucks are just so Tom Brady. I don't fucking get it.
Yeah, he's ridiculous. Dude, the Eagles beat the Panthers last week. And Sam Darnold, 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions. He sucked.
He sucked.
It's crazy. Jury's still out on him, but the Eagles didn't look bad. They didn't look bad. We got the Dolphins Jaguars. That's a fucking toilet bowl. Almost.
Yeah.
Lions Jags.
Yeah. I'm gonna say Dolphins.
Yeah.
You trust Trevor Lawrence?
It's not that I don't trust him. It's that I don't trust the rest of the team or Urban Meyer. So I am going to take the Dolphins. Vikings Panthers.
Vikings.
I am going to take the Vikings because I just don't trust the Panthers. They've been
Too inconsistent.
Yeah, and the Vikings, I think, are better than their record shows because they are a couple plays away from being 4-1.
Mm-hmm.
And that's also the nature of the NFL, though, right? And I think I always go back and forth between the good teams win those games, right? Like you remember the Packers a few years ago when they're 13-3. They're arguably the worst, not arguably, statistically, we're the worst 13-3 team in NFL history.
Yep.
But I think you can make the argument that when you're in those close games, that the better team just wins. They find a way to win.
Yes.
But I'm going to take the Vikings in that game as well. I'd be interested to see. Do you want to see what's the spread?
Let's see if I can pull it up here. Damn, Vikings -1.
I would take that.
Yeah, I would take that too.
I like them to win. Chargers and Ravens. That's a tough pick.
It is. I'm gonna go with the Ravens. I mean, Lamar Jackson is playing out of his mind.
He is, but
They struggled in the first half.
they did.
Was it the Colts?
Yeah, dude, Carson Wentz had a fucking game. He had himself. That was the best game he's had since I can remember. Dude, it's really hard for me to pick against the Chargers right now, though. Herbert's a stud.
A stud.
Their offense in general stacked. I got Austin Eckler. Who are their receivers? They have 2 studs. They have Keenan Allen and I'm forgetting the other guy. But they are a really good team. I'm trying to think of who they beat last. So they beat the Browns last week.
No.
The Chargers did.
No, the Browns play the Packers.
No, this is last week. Bengals almost lost to the
Bengals. Bengals.
Bengals almost won.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the Chargers beat the Browns last week. I'm going to go with the Chargers. That's going to be a good game.
That's going to be a good
It's going to be a good game. That's our first difference here. First difference.
I'm pissed that that's the same time as the Vikings game.
I know, and we're tied. in our picks right now. We'll come back to the consequence of the loser this year. Rams, Giants.
Rams.
Yeah, Rams. Giants are the Giants, but they did win a couple weeks ago. But we got the Texans and Colts.
I mean, this is going to be a shit game.
Depends which Carson Wentz shows up.
Yes. I'm going to pick the Colts.
Same. Chiefs, Washington.
I'm not questioning it. I'm going to pick the Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think the Chiefs are as good as I initially like. I would have seen this at the beginning of the year. I would have said Chiefs 150%.
Yeah.
I still think they're going to win. But it's not the same Chiefs team it's been the last couple of years.
No, and they're still like top 10 in most power rankings, which I think is crazy. Did you see the power rankings that I messaged you? That I sent you? Yeah.
I've not been on
They have the
Instagram
Bengals. They have the Bengals ahead of the Bears. And they have the Raiders ahead of the Bears still, which I understand. Like every team, if they like, you literally could not make it so that every team the Bears beat is behind them.
Right.
Because sometimes the Steelers beat the Bills. The Bills are a way better team than the Steelers. It's not even close. And every week, Ben Roethlisberger looks like he's more and more washed up.
Yep.
But yeah, the Chiefs are not the same team they were last year. Don't quote me on this, but I think they're missing a few linemen that they had a couple years ago.
I don't know.
They don't have as much time, or Mahomes doesn't have as much time, but he's been throwing more picks this year as well.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know enough about their team, but yeah, definitely does not seem like the same Chiefs team. And their division is really good this year now. I mean, the Broncos are having a better year, aside from when they got shit on by the Steelers a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
But I think the Chiefs are going to end up being maybe like a 10-win team, maybe 11. I don't know, which is still a good season, still better than both of our teams, but better than their record shows, but not as good as they've been previously. Bears, Packers.
I'm going Bears, baby. Fuck the Packers.
So, call me delusional, whatever you want. I'm picking the Bears. I don't think that their roster as a whole is that much better than ours. The only thing I think that they really have on us is 12.
Yep.
Aaron Rodgers.
Yep.
I think without him, if you pick most other quarterbacks in the league, I think the Bears win 75% of the time. But they do have Aaron Rodgers. So a lot of that game is going to come down to our pass rush. If we can keep doing what we've been doing, we're number 1 in the league in sacks. But Aaron Rodgers is a freaking magician in the pocket. So he's going to be good at evading pressure and extending plays. And our secondary,
ball quick.
Yep. And our secondary is not great. It's okay. So I'm a little bit nervous for some deep shots. We've had a lot of miscommunications on coverages and things like that. So, who knows? They could get the Bears could get blown out, or it could be a close game. I don't know. I don't see the Bears blowing them out. I would love that.
Me too.
But yeah, I just have a weird gut feeling that the Bears might pull away with this, and I think if they do, they might get a little bit more respect around the league. Not that I think they deserve more respect right now. I still don't think we'd know who they are as a team. But I'd say with a rookie quarterback, if you start out the season 4-2, and Dalton was our starter for 2 games really, but got hurt in the second. To have your rookie quarterback play, let's say we win and we're 4-2, for him to be playing in the last 4.5 games and to be 4-2. I think it's pretty damn good.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I would be really high on that, because a lot of people were saying with the Raiders that, oh, well, the Raiders just had a shit game, or maybe they're just not as good as we thought they were, and well, everything with John Gruden was going on, so they were distracted or whatever. So a lot of people kind of took some credit away from the Bears. So I think
always make excuses.
Yeah, but you know what? Sometimes they're valid though. Like I remember last year when the Bears were 5-0 and everyone's fucking shocked. And they're like, well, they're the worst 5-0 team in NFL history. And I'm like, yeah, but look at the Packers last year when they went 13-3. Good teams just fucking win those games.
Right.
And then they finished the season 8-8, and you're like, how the fuck did that happen? They lose 6 games in a row. So I don't know, but I'll be there with one of my longtime clients, Mark, and unfortunately, I will not be drunk for that game, but I will be drunk in spirit. So we're gonna have fun. I'm gonna go fucking crazy. I'm gonna come to work on Sunday or on Monday, and I'm gonna lose my voice for sure.
Good. I don't have to fucking listen to you.
Yeah. Bengals Lions.
Bengals.
Dude, I want the Lions to get their first win, man.
You're not picking the Lions.
I kind of want to, but I just don't trust their defense. Their offense can kind of move the ball. I think they play really hard for Dan Campbell. I really like him as a coach. I think in the next few years, they're going to be a good team. And maybe not good, but they're going to get better. Yes. They have a lot of first-round picks that they got from Stafford. They're going to have 2 first-round picks for the next 3 years.
That's true.
That's huge.
They've also had a lot of high first-round picks in the past.
A lot.
And have not been able to capitalize.
A lot. So depends who they pick, right?
Yes.
I'm going to take the Bengals, though. I want to take the Lions, but I'm going to take the Bengals. Cardinals, Browns. That's a tough game.
This is going to be a good game.
Yeah.
I'm going to pick the Browns. I'm going to say Cardinals are going to get their first loss.
I would like to see that because I like AFC teams beating some of the other NFC contenders. Granted,
yes.
The Cardinals aren't, in a wild card spot right now. Being 5-0, they're at the top of the division. Do you see them finishing on top?
I mean, I want to say
because they got the Rams, Seahawks, and who else is in that division?
The Rams, the Seahawks, the Cardinals.
NFC
Rams,
West.
Seahawks, Cardinals. Do not tell me. Rams,
another LA team.
Seahawks.
I'm looking over the teams. I can't fucking
Cardinals.
See them.
49ers.
God damn it.
Yeah.
They have a bye week this week or something? Yeah, they must have a bye week because they're not even in the games. Yeah, they do have a bye week.
I don't know if I see them. They're a playoff team.
Yeah.
But that division is so good.
It is. I think the 49ers will be in last, but I still think they could be the third wild card spot maybe.
Right.
So yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. So I just looked at the spread. It's Cardinals +3.
You're taking the Browns?
I'm taking the Browns.
I'm taking the Cardinals.
I took the Browns mainly because I thought you were going to take the Cardinals.
I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen in that game. I'm excited for that game. I wish that was the Sunday night game.
Yes.
Or the Monday night game. I don't know. Yeah, so I'm going to take the Cardinals. And then we got Cowboys, Patriots.
I'm going to take the Cowboys.
Me too. I think the Cowboys are for real. I think they're good. Then we have Broncos, Raiders. That's a rivalry.
That's a tough one.
That is really tough because I don't think the Broncos are that bad.
I don't either. I would normally have picked the Raiders, but I think
like shit last week.
But I also think with everything going on with Gruden,
that's true.
There's too much stuff going on in the locker room.
The Broncos, and they got a decent defense. I think Bridgewater that was like an anomaly for him. Not that he's like really good and he's a stud or whatever, but I don't think he's normally that bad.
No.
He's normally pretty average.
He's a very solid average. Yeah. As long as he doesn't turn the ball over, he's not going to lose you a game, but you can't rely on him to carry the team to win a game.
I agree.
I'm going to pick the Broncos.
Yeah, with everything going on with the Raiders, I just feel like I could see them kind of falling apart from just a culture standpoint. And who knows? They might come out and just fucking shit on the Broncos. Yeah, I don't know. But I'll take the Broncos. Now we got 2 more picks here. We got the Seahawks and Steelers on the Sunday night game.
I'm going Seahawks.
Even without Russell Wilson.
Oh, is he injured?
Yeah, dislocated his finger. Did you see his finger?
No.
It was bent sideways.
Oh.
Yeah, he's going to be out like 4 to 6 weeks, I think. So it's going to be Geno Smith in there. I think the Seahawks could be a potential trade target for the Bears, and maybe the Bears try to give him or Foles. I would rather keep Dalton as a backup if he wanted to stay, but if Geno Smith sucks, they might be like, fuck it, we got to save our season.
Shit, I did not know Russell Wilson wasn't playing. That makes it a lot tougher.
I know.
I'm gonna go Steelers actually then.
Me too. Even though
I think they're finding their groove.
you think so?
I just think they're
they did
kind of
well.
getting that swagger back. Roethlisberger's not good,
No, but they played well last week.
but they played well.
I'm gonna take the Steelers as well. No, I don't. I mean, Geno Smith had a couple nice throws last week, but I just don't know if.
He's still Geno Smith.
Yeah, and the Steelers' defense is pretty good. It's not what it was last year, I don't think, but it's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Last game here, we got the Monday night game, Bills-Titans.
I gotta go Bills.
Yeah, that one's not that hard for me. I'm taking the Bills, which is weird because I feel like last year that would have been a lot
Much
more
better
difficult. The Titans have not been that impressive to me, even in like some of their wins. I don't know, like the Cardinals shit on them earlier in the season.
I think they're relying too heavy on Derrick Henry.
Yeah, I mean,
And
maybe
it works for a little bit.
Yeah, to lose against the Jets,
Yeah.
that's crazy. Every team has their bad week. Like you saw the Packers got shit on by the Saints. You know what I mean? That was
Right.
crazy. And the Saints aren't a bad team, but it's just weird. This has been a really weird year in the NFL. So how come you're not letting me use any decent idea for the reward for who wins? I just don't understand. I feel like every idea I throw out there, you're like, no, I don't want to do that.
You want to tell people what the idea was?
Yeah, well, I asked Zach if he wanted to have the winner pick the name of the loser's firstborn son. I don't think that's that outlandish.
No, it is, because my kid's going to get bullied already. And I told you this. I don't need him to be named Alfred as an excuse to get bullied more.
I told you it wouldn't be Alfred. I told you the name that I'd pick.
What was that name?
Reginald Vell Johnson.
Exactly.
He's an actor. Dude, come on.
Yeah, I'm not putting my my kid's gonna come home from school crying in tears because he got bullied. I'm like, you can go thank Uncle Connor for that one.
Dude, first of all, thank you for making me Uncle Connor. Dude, that's a dope name. He could go by Reggie.
Yeah.
Do you know who Reginald Vell Johnson is? He was in Family Matters.
I also that might start a very big fight with my future wife down the road.
You know what Jessie told me when I told her that idea? She said I would never marry you. You know what I told her? Didn't ask you to.
I'm sure she didn't like that one.
It was not a great conversation. No. And
That's funny.
yeah, so I didn't have sex that night. That was last night, by the way.
He jerked off in the shower.
Not in the shower.
In bed next to her?
No, I just whipped it out right next to her.
It's like, well, I'm fucking horny, so we're having.
She's like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "Well, I know you're not gonna fuck me later." She's like, "Yeah, well, that's true."
Might as well bust a nut right now. Choke the chicken right now.
Oh man, no, that didn't happen. Actually, I just played Madden.
That's funny.
Yeah,
We'll come up with something.
yeah, we'll figure something out. All right, well, it's time to get into these questions, huh?
Let's do it.
All right.
What are your thoughts on incorporating different rep ranges within the same week regularly rather than switching rep ranges every 4 to 6 weeks?
I actually think this is a much better strategy than changing every 4 to 6 weeks. Here's why. You have, two big, variables when we're talking about adaptation and gaining strength outside of, the big three being volume, intensity, and frequency. Here we're looking at directed adaptation and adaptive resistance. So you have what we call directed adaptation, meaning if you do, let's say, sets of 5 on barbell bench, and that's what you're working towards at least once a week. Maybe another day you have a different rep range, right? And let's say all you're doing is like 5 by 5 for every main lift for 4 to 6 weeks. And then you cycle through and then you go, oh, I'm going to go like 6 sets of 3 or 2, whatever. And then maybe after that, you're like, I'm going 4 sets of 12, right? You're changing things up every 4 to 6 weeks, but that's the rep scheme you're following for that period of time. You're going to get really good at sets of 5 on your bench, your squat, your deadlift, or whatever. But that doesn't always translate to sets of 8. That's why powerlifters, as they get closer to a meet and they know they're doing a 1 rep max, they start introducing more singles in their powerlifting training. They might not do a ton of it in the off season, but as they get closer to the meet, they're introducing more singles, even if they're low intensity. And they have more and more as they get closer to the meet, and they're priming their body for a max single because it's more specific to what you're doing in your sport, right? So you'll get really good at sets of 5. So then if you abandon that for 4 to 6 weeks, and really it would be 8 to 12 weeks, because maybe you're doing sets of, let's just say you're doing sets of 4, and then you go sets of 8, and then sets of 10 or 12 or whatever. And each one of those, you're doing it for 4 to 6 weeks. That's 8 to 12 total weeks where you haven't done sets of 4. So now when you come back to that, you're probably going to be a little bit weaker, and at best you've maintained what you were able to do for 4 reps. So instead, if you were benching, let's even just say twice a week, because most people aren't benching 3 times a week, right? So let's say you bench twice a week. One day you do somewhere in the 4 to 6 rep range, and then maybe another day you're in the 8 to 10 rep range. Now you get kind of the best of both worlds. You're working in different intensities throughout the week, sending different signals to your body, and you don't really have to go through these different training cycles, if you will, because then you lose the directed adaptation. Now, the adaptive resistance is more, this is when people say, oh, you need to shock your body. And there's a lot of bro science behind that back, like 10, 15 years ago, where people would say you have to do like a different workout every week, right? So it's not that much, but you do kind of have to shock your body in a sense of giving it a novel stimulus. Now, that could be adding weight, that could be adding reps, that could be changing or adding in different exercise variations, or maybe for a little while saying, hey, I'm going to swap out the traditional barbell bench press and I'm going to do like a narrow grip bench press. It doesn't mean you have to do dumbbells or you have to go do cables or not bench for 6 months. It just means maybe a different variation, maybe a t-shirt press like we've done before, a 2-second t-shirt press, a tempo bench, a feet up bench, whatever. That's kind of how you can work around that adaptive resistance, but still maybe work in the same rep range. I would do a little bit of everything. So I know we've talked about this a lot, where maybe you have, let's say your goal is like muscle gain. You probably want to spend like 60 to 75% of your time in the 6 to 12 rep range. But then maybe like 10, 15% of the time you do like, 3 to 6 reps. And then, 10, 15% of the time you're doing, I'd say like 12 and higher on reps. But a bulk of your time should kind of be in that 6 to 12 rep range. Now that I'm done rambling, what are your thoughts?
And I know it's a very individualized approach. Generally speaking, if I have someone who's just getting into it or getting back into the gym, I tend to have them stick with the same rep ranges. And it's a rep range. We're not doing like 3 sets of 10 for everything.
Yeah.
So rep range, I'd say like anywhere from 7 to 12.
Yeah.
So some days we're doing a little bit heavier. Some days we're going a little bit lighter. But I've found for some people, it's easier to know that for the next 4 weeks, I'm chasing a pump.
Yeah.
Or for the next 4 weeks, I'm loading the bar up and I'm getting under and we're going for a 3 rep max. To keep the mental aspect kind of consistent, like you said, it is a skill to lift a 5x5. It's not like you lift 5x5 and all of a sudden your 12 rep max is going to increase. So just letting someone know that this is what we're focusing on, and then as their training gets more advanced, then I start to throw in that more undulating stuff.
Yeah.
But also, like, for example, within a specific workout, let's say I'm doing, for me personally, let's say I've got heavy bench press. It's my chest day or my push day. I'm going 5x5 bench. I'm not going to hammer heavy flies with the bench being that intense. I'm going to have higher volume for my accessories, and then I'll chase the pump chase that like more muscle failure, get the fatigue going there. So I do get torn though, especially when when a client's coming to me, and even if they've been working out for a handful of years, you know, I don't know what they've been doing. They can tell me what they've been doing, but like, same thing with nutrition. Someone can tell me how they've been eating. Has that really been how it's been consistently for the past 6 months?
Yeah.
So it just, I like to mess with it, see what people are gonna like.
Yeah.
You know, if someone, like, I know for us, if we were to just sit and do 3 sets of 12 for everything, we'd get bored.
Yeah. And probably you're going to hit a plateau at some point.
Right.
Honestly, I think you can almost never go wrong with like a double progression scheme. Most people can make progress off of that for a decade.
Yes.
Like, you know, you have we've talked about double progressions on the podcast before where, and this is pretty much how I work with almost all of my clients in person, because most of them in person are more beginner to intermediate, and I might have a couple advanced, and then most of my people online are intermediate advanced. And I have some beginners online as well. But, you know, kind of what I'll do is, let's say the first main lift, most of them are body composition focused. So we're not really going much lower than 6 reps most of the time. So I might have the first exercise or first couple of exercises be like 6 to 8 reps. And then some of the accessory stuff would be like 8 to 10. And then towards the end, it might be 10 to 12. And then maybe like an isolation exercise for like 12 to 15. So we're kind of working within all the rep ranges within one workout.
Yep.
But like the big compound lifts will be between maybe 6 and 10. And then the other stuff is 10 to 12, 12 to 15, whatever. But I think for a lot of people, just working all the rep ranges throughout the week, it's also just keeps your training more interesting and more fun. Question 2. The right side of my body has more muscle mass than the left side. How do I even both sides out?
This is something that I don't think people pay enough attention to, because especially guys, we like to stick to barbells. Specifically, one of the benefits of a barbell is you can load a lot of weight up. One of the downsides, this is a benefit of dumbbells, is you don't get to train unilaterally. You know, if one side's weaker than the other, it doesn't matter, because the stronger side can help kind of pick up a little bit, like in a bench press. My left arm can push a little bit harder than my right arm. So my right arm, you know, even if it's just 3 to 5 pounds, but every rep, every set, every time that I do that, it's going to add up a little bit more. So for something like this, dumbbells, you know, dumbbell bench press. If it's in legs, split squats, you know, single leg split squats. We'll start with dumbbells, for example, or for bench press. If you're doing a bench press and your right arm or left arm gives out, that's when you're done with that set. But for like a single arm row or like a split squat, starting off with your weak side, let's say you're shooting for 10 reps. Let's say with your weak side, you only get 8 reps. When you go over to that strong side, you only do 8 reps, even if you could do 10, just so that way you're picking up the lagging part, but you're not allowing the strong side to take over and go even further.
Yeah. A lot of people, especially like, you know, some people that come to me, they'll ask me if they should do like an extra set on like, oh, should I do an extra set like on my left arm versus my right arm? Should I do an extra one like on my pull downs on just my right arm? And the reason this doesn't work is because volume is not the main driver of hypertrophy, of muscle gain. It's going to be progressive overload in gaining strength over time. Now, that doesn't mean just adding weight. That doesn't mean you have to try to go 5 pounds heavier on your weak arm, because you fucking can't. But what that means is it means adding reps over time, being able to control that weight better, getting a better mind-muscle connection, just getting stronger over time. And that can be in a pretty large rep range if you want to work between 6 and 12 reps. But I think, like Zach said, is, you know, just start with your weak arm. Make sure you're doing kind of like single arm compound movements. Like I like the single arm dumbbell bench. But honestly, that tends to like limit what you can do because of your core being the limiting factor. So I just like dumbbell work. If it's like arms, you know, do some alternating bicep curls, or like single arm cable curls, single arm tricep work. single arm lat pull downs, whatever. And you should be doing single arm, single leg training anyway. You should be doing unilateral training. You should be doing stuff with dumbbells. So if you do those things consistently, then you're going to be fine. But also understanding too, like your strong side probably will be a little bit bigger. You write with your right arm, you're probably going to pick most things up with your right arm if you're right-handed, right? Like Zach's left-handed.
Fuck yeah.
So I mean, some things you're going to do, you're just going to use your strong side more. That's life, right? You're not going to brush your teeth with your fucking weak hand. Now, that's not going to make your front delt way stronger.
I tried it. It's
how dumb did you feel?
And I had to use my left arm to finish brushing because I
Yeah.
didn't get a good enough job
Same.
done with the right arm.
I've tried to do it with my left arm. I'm terrible. But yeah, I think overall you have to also understand, like, you're inherently imbalanced. You have a heart on one side of your body, you know?
We have more organs on the left side than we do the right side.
Right? Yeah. Everyone's going to have some kind of imbalance. We're inherently imbalanced. But I think just doing unilateral work and starting with your weak side is going to be enough to even those out as much as you can. And a lot of times it just comes down to the fact that you need to build more muscle in general.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just, you know, where
That's
you're going to be
life.
at. Yep.
Question 3. I know you both are doing Sober October. What are the biggest changes you guys have noticed?
To be clear, Zach is doing sober-ish October. I'm doing sober October.
Sober-ish, that still counts.
Sure. Almost counts in, what do they say?
Horseshoes, grenade tosses, and nuclear weapons.
I thought it was just horseshoes and hand grenades.
That's what I thought it was too, and then my client said nuclear warfare.
Who said that?
Tim.
I don't believe him.
You can get close with a fucking nuclear bomb.
Whatever, I guess. So the biggest change, I'd say 2 for me. The first thing has been I have been on point with my meditation. And that kind of gets me excited. I get like pumped up about that a little bit because I feel so much more at peace. I feel like my focus is better. So I've definitely been able to get in a groove with meditation. And to be honest, that doesn't really have anything to do with being sober. That's just like me actually being able to plan this shit out earlier in my day and just kind of be a little bit more flexible with how long I decide to meditate on a given day. The other thing is dreams. I have had dreams every single night since I haven't been smoking in the evening. Before October, I know we have dreams every night, but you don't always remember them. But like sometimes you wake up and you're like, I know I had dreams last night, or I know I had a dream, but I forget what it was. I have like no recollection of any of my dreams ever. Like I couldn't tell you the last time. And I've woken up remembering my dreams vividly, like every freaking morning, every morning. It's nuts. And I think my sleep quality is a little bit better too, because there's some research, there's not a ton, it's not super promising, but it seems that cannabis affects our bodies in a similar way that alcohol does when it comes to falling asleep, that you're almost more passed out for the first, hour, couple hours, versus actually being asleep. So I think that's really interesting, and I don't know if I buy into it yet. I think maybe it kind of depends on the dose, but yeah, dreams have been significantly more vivid and actually memorable. So I think that's been like kind of the most interesting thing. But other than that, just kind of meditation. But really, I think this has kind of showed me that maybe alcohol or marijuana is not as much of a vice as maybe I thought it was. And I think if anything, the main thing I've learned really was that Zen is expensive and my bank account's happy.
Yeah,
Literally. Yeah.
I would say, dreaming for me has been the biggest thing. I know we talked about this a couple of days in, and you're like, holy shit, like you're experiencing that too. Like I thought that was only me, but
yeah, it was on Monday because it started on a Friday the 1st, and it was like Monday the 4th.
Yep. And it's fucking insane because I would remember dreams, but they definitely weren't as vivid. And I a couple hours go by, and then I totally forget what I dreamt about if I even remembered it. Yeah. Now I could tell you what I dreamt about 2 nights ago.
Yeah.
Like it's fucking insane. I will say, and I don't, it's not necessarily being sober, but I would always use Zen as like a vice for staying more alert, or not alert, awake throughout the day. So I do find myself kind of getting to that, 2, 3 p.m. where I'm kind of like, all right, I'm kind of tired. I could definitely take a nap. Where before I just throw Zen in and it's like, just get going. I will say, I'm up at some mornings up at 3:50. So by the time, 2, 3 o'clock hits, it's not like I woke up at 11 and I'm just tired. Like it has been a long day, but I have noticed that crash kind of happening, and I could use that to my benefit of like when it's bedtime now. Like I'm starting to wind down and actually like get a bedtime routine at a reasonable time and not fuck around and like try and force myself to find a way to fall asleep. And that way has been marijuana. My body just naturally like winding down for the day and getting ready to go.
Yeah, I think I've realized that I could probably have a better wind down routine, for sure. But I also feel like I've used Zen as a way to mask subpar sleep.
Yep.
So that has been getting better, and I'm happy about that. So I think overall, I'd say I'm happy with it. I don't think it's been anything like, eye-opening, but it's been cool to do. I've been enjoying it. Probably won't do it next year, but
yeah, probably won't do it next year.
Yeah, well, it depends if I get fucking hooked on Zen again. Then I will.
Yes, that's very true.
I don't think I will though. I don't have a desire to get back into it.
It depends on your intention going into it.
Yeah.
If like for me, the intention wasn't to remain sober for an entire month. The intention was, I feel like these substances are starting to have control on my life. Let me prove to myself that I can get away from them. The reason I didn't cut alcohol, I don't have an alcohol problem. I mean, I might, but I cut it out for 3-4 months at a time.
Yeah.
Like I can cut that out, no problem,
sure.
No issues.
You sound like Johnny Manziel when he got caught. You remember he put the mustache on. He went to Las Vegas and he was playing on the Browns. He had a game in Cleveland and he's in fucking Vegas the night before with a fake mustache on. There's videos of him on like TMZ, and the next day after the game they get fucking killed. And he's in his press conference, and they go, so Johnny, you kind of, how do you feel about like the team, and their stance on your drinking problem? And he goes, well, first I think we need to be clear here that I don't have a drinking problem. The team has a problem with me drinking. And he goes, there's a big difference.
Big difference.
Like, hey, bro, you got a lot of problems.
Yeah. That's not one of the first things they cover in AA.
Yeah. Yeah. But anyway, Sober October is going well so far. So
it is. I'm glad we're doing it.
To be continued. Thank you for watching this episode of 5-Year Plan. If you like what we're doing here on the show, be sure to like and subscribe.
If you want one of your questions answered on a future podcast, you can write into our website at www.5yearplanmedia.com, or you can write into our Instagram page at 5yearplanmedia. You can find me on Instagram at @Z_Condon.
And you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at ConnorYoungman_.
Peace.
See ya.